Title: The alien queen searched for her tiny girl, only to find her asleep on the human's chest. The sky above the desolate planet shimmered in eerie violet hues, a silent reminder that this world belonged to no one but the unknown. The alien queen, tall and regal, moved with purposeful strides across the jagged terrain. Her crown of luminous tendrils glowed softly, pulsating with every heartbeat, reflecting the anxiety gnawing at her core. Her tiny daughter, her most precious and vulnerable, was missing. She couldn't have wandered far, the queen muttered, her voice resonant like a harmonized chord of fear and authority. Her eyes, multifaceted and reflective, scanned the horizon as if the planet itself might betray her child's hiding place. Memories of the tiny girl, barely the size of a human hand, tugged at her heart. She had always been curious, mischievous, and fearless, traits that made her adventures both enchanting and dangerous. The queen's search began in the ruins of her own alien city. The towers, once glimmering with energy and life, now stood fractured, shadows curling like dark smoke around their bases. Every chamber, every crevice, was inspected meticulously. Tiny footprints, glowing faintly from residual alien energy, led her to the edge of the central plaza. But the trail ended abruptly. Panic threatened to overcome her measured composure. Then she remembered. Humans. Their fragile, unpredictable species had been allies once, providing shelter and aid to the smallest of her kind. A small smile flickered on her lips. Perhaps the human settlement nearby held answers. With a swift leap that defied the laws of gravity, she left the ruins behind. The human village was quiet, unnervingly so, as if the tiny alien girl's presence had somehow muted the normal bustle. The queen's eyes, scanning every shadow, every flicker of movement, finally caught sight of something extraordinary. In a dimly lit room, bathed in the warm glow of a flickering lamp, a human man sat quietly in a wooden chair. And upon his chest lay her tiny daughter, asleep, her tiny limbs curled in perfect contentment. The queen froze, unsure if she should step forward. Her daughter stirred slightly, murmuring in a language only they shared. The human, oblivious to her arrival, gently stroked the girl's iridescent hair. It shimmered like liquid starlight even in the soft lamplight. The sight was so peaceful, so intimate, that the queen felt her chest tighten. "Why him?" she whispered under her breath, a mixture of wonder and confusion. Her mind raced. This human was meant to be dangerous, unpredictable, even clumsy by alien standards. Yet here he was, cradling her daughter with such care, such reverence, that it seemed almost sacred. The tiny girl's eyes fluttered open, revealing depths of color the queen had never seen in any species. She blinked at the queen, then at the human, before letting out a sleepy giggle. "Mama," she whispered, her voice a delicate chime. The queen's heart melted instantly, the tension of the search dissipating like mist under sunlight. Stepping into the room, the queen's presence was immediately commanding, yet gentle. The human stiffened slightly, recognizing the power radiating off her. But he did not panic. Instead, he offered a small nod, a silent acknowledgement that he would not harm the tiny visitor he had unwittingly protected. "She was tired," he said simply, as if that explained everything. "I found her wandering and she just fell asleep on my chest." The queen approached slowly, kneeling so that her glowing tendrils were not threatening, but inviting. Her tiny daughter wriggled free from the human's warmth and ran into her arms, burying her face against the luminescent skin of the queen's chest. "I was so worried," the queen whispered, her voice trembling. The human watched this exchange with quiet fascination, sensing that this reunion was beyond his understanding, beyond words. "Thank you," she said finally, looking into the human's eyes. There was no accusation in her tone, only gratitude. You protected her when I could not. The man nodded again, feeling the weight of responsibility he had carried unknowingly. She's brave, he said softly. Just small and curious. The tiny girl looked up, beaming. He's nice, Mama. He let me sleep. Her laughter echoed in the small room, bright and melodious, as if sunlight itself had taken voice. The queen smiled, stroking her daughter's hair with tender precision. For a moment, all three simply existed in that fragile, perfect bubble of trust. The queen realized something profound. Even across galaxies, even across species, there was room for understanding, protection, and love. Her tiny girl had not just found rest. She had found a bridge between worlds. Finally, the queen turned to the human. We must return, she said, her voice steady now, the tension replaced with calm authority. But know this, you will always have my gratitude. And should you ever need us, we will answer. The human only nodded, humbled and awed by the encounter. The tiny girl clung to her mother's chest one last time, casting a mischievous glance at the human, then allowing herself to be lifted. As they vanished into the night, the queen's heart swelled with a mixture of relief and wonder. She had feared losing her daughter, feared the unknown. Yet in the end, what she found was a reminder that even the smallest beings could create ripples of connection stronger than the mightiest forces of any world. And somewhere, in a quiet human home, a man would forever remember the tiny alien girl who chose to sleep upon his chest, and the queen who came to reclaim her. The queen's luminous tendrils shimmered as she stepped into the quiet room. Her tiny daughter stirred slightly, blinking up at her before curling more tightly against the human's chest. Relief and awe collided in the queen's chest. She was tired, the human said softly, his hand still cradling her gently. I just let her rest. The queen knelt, careful not to appear threatening. Her daughter wriggled free and scampered into her arms, burying her face in her mother's glowing chest. The queen's worry dissolved, replaced by a profound tenderness. I was so worried, she whispered. The tiny girl looked up, giggling. He's nice, Mama. He let me sleep. For a few precious moments, the three of them existed in quiet harmony. The queen's gaze met the human's, conveying gratitude beyond words. You protected her when I could not, she said, steady now, her authority tempered by warmth. The human nodded, humbled by the encounter. She's brave, just small and curious, he said. Finally, the queen rose, cradling her daughter securely. We must return, she said softly. But know that your kindness will not be forgotten. If you ever need us, we will answer. The tiny girl cast one last mischievous glance at the human before settling against her mother. As they disappeared into the violet night, the queen felt an overwhelming mix of relief and wonder. In that quiet human home, the man would forever remember the tiny alien girl who chose to sleep upon his chest, and the powerful luminous queen who came to reclaim her. For the queen, it was more than a reunion. It was proof that even across galaxies, care, trust, and connection could bridge worlds. And as they vanished, the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, celebrating the bond forged in that small, unforgettable room.